Today we're going to be talking about drones, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so if you haven't tuned into the channel before, I'm Anthony. This is the Wrenched Out Experiment, and every single Tuesday we are diving into numerous topics, but the Tuesday idea is to drop content and motivation and to try to bring you in on my adventure. So today I thought it would be appropriate, and we haven't got to talk about drones as a whole as much as I'd like to, so I thought, why not talk about that here today? But before I dive into that, make sure hit subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere else. So one thing, I fly the DJI Phantom 4 Advanced. I have owned the Pro. I've owned several of the DJI products. I've also owned the 3DR Solo. I've got a couple of those, and I have experience with that using the GoPro and the gimbal. So I started using drones in 2016, shot a bunch of footage. I've lost drones, I've wrecked drones, I've done flights over water, I've done flights in mountains, so forth and so on. But today, let's just make it super simple. I want to talk about a couple of tips for you new drone pilots and much more. So obviously nothing's more exciting than grabbing your new drone and getting it up in the air, blasting away a bunch of shots, whether it's photography or videography to show your friends, your family. Maybe it's on YouTube, maybe it's on Instagram, Facebook. But a couple of the key components that you have to know up front is A, get your FAA hobbyist license, read through all of the propaganda and all of the information there at your local FAA site and any local rules that you need to be aware of. You have to do that up front. You don't want to be flying overhead of people. You don't want to fly in a no-fly zone or anything of the sort. DJI does a fantastic job. These guys do a really good job with their application, showing you the goods and the bads areas. So get familiar with that before you go off and launch. It's super simple. You'll also need to update your drone. More than likely, regardless of the drone or the company, once you get that thing home, update it. And then what you'll want to do is get familiar. Let me grab a couple of things here. You want to get familiar with the products. So for DJI, if you're running the bigger drones, the Phantom line, you're going to have a big remote like this. Try to understand what this thing does as far as gimbal movement and as far as flight movement. I know that there's simulators and there's a couple of cool things that you can do with this as a standalone. Obviously, charge up your device also, and I would highly suggest, if this is your first drone or you're unfamiliar with flying around aircrafts, go to a park, go to a field, go to your local school, obviously when kids aren't there or there's no activities going on, and just get it off the ground a couple of feet and kind of zip it around you, move your gimbal around, get comfortable with those before you decide to climb up a mountain or drive across your city or your state or whatever it is to go capture that thing that you've been waiting on. I highly suggest that you go to a very easy and simple area so you can get familiar with your drone prior to flight. Now, talking about charging, obviously your remote's going to need to be charged. Make sure that's charged up. Make sure it's updated before you take off. Another thing that you're going to want to do is get some extra batteries. I've said this numerous times and I'll continue saying it. Get extra batteries. I always carry 3 batteries. I have with every single drone I've ever owned, and I'll continue to, simply because you're only going to get between 20, 25 minutes of flight. More likely it's around the 20-minute. And that means 3 batteries equals about 60 minutes of flight time. Sounds like a lot of time, but if you just drove across a state or you drove to wherever and you're trying to capture that thing, 60 minutes is not a lot. In addition to that, what you're going to want to do is get one of these. This is the Bowers little case, and what's inside is the most important. I always carry numerous memory cards. I'll put links to all of these products for if you're running DJI. I'll put some for Mavic and for the Phantom down below. This obviously will work for anything to include your camera, but I would carry as many backup memory cards as you possibly can, simply because nothing is worse. And I've done this several times, so I can tell you firsthand, nothing is worse than showing up. You forgot to take the memory card out and clear out what's on it, and then you're forced to either not shoot what you're doing, or if you have a laptop or something with you, you're using that. So just do your gear check. In addition to that, you'll want to get extra propellers and much more. But the main goal of this is, and you got to think about this, is to go shoot, get outside and do that thing that you really want to do, and that's shoot the video or shoot the photos that you're there to do. And if you're not prepared, it's just going to ruin the moment. It's going to waste the time that you put in and all of that effort that went into doing whatever it is you wanted to do. So taking a few minutes, making sure you're ready to go. Test running, especially test running when you're new to flying drones, is absolutely critical, so you'll know how to interact with the environment that you're shooting. This is one of many videos that I'm going to be talking about drones. It's windy out there today. I will, once the wind kind of dies down and it's more appropriate for me to be flying, I'm going to do some on-site tutorials, talk through some of the stuff that I do when I'm preparing for shooting videos, photos, and I'm going to use my other channel once the weather's appropriate to show you guys kind of a live demonstration of me putting together drone footage and how I do it if you're interested. If anything, if you're new to drones, hopefully this will kind of help you at least establish where to start with all of that. That pretty much wraps this episode up, guys. If you do have a drone and obviously you're out flying, get out there and rip. Enjoy that drone life. I am working on a couple of new shirts with the drone life hashtag and with a lot of other cool things to include some decals. So I'm super excited for that. I do appreciate you guys stopping by here at the Wrench Out Experiment, checking us out. Again, if you guys have not subscribed, consider doing that. Hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell if you want to be notified every time we drop a video. Normal content is Tuesdays, our content and motivation, where we're just talking about stuff that motivates us and trying to help you guys become better content creators along with us. We're in this journey with you if you're a content creator. And if not, you're a consumer of content and maybe you just want to fly your drone. Hopefully some of this stuff will help you as well. That pretty much wraps this up. I'm Anthony. This is the Wrenched Out Experiment. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram. And we'll see you guys in the next video.